Council to order. Council members.
We don't have a quorum. Now we have a quorum.
There he is. Now we got four.
Back there cutting secret deals.
Yeah. Boy, I remember one that happened in there. Still makes me mad to this day. Hey, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. All right, Mr. Zach.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good, buddy.
Good.
I'm gonna use the clicker to go through. I just don't know where the clicker. Oh, here it is. All right, my bad. It's right in front of me. Okay, so we've got one introduction for you guys that can be adopted by unanimous consent. So this is an annexation request on the lake, 1.1 acres at 17060 Hayes Road. So this is far, far north, even above the sailing club. Here's the location adjacent to the lake, so no other properties really around there other than the lake that's in the city limits. Aerial, I believe there's a house that exists there currently. The family wants to annex in order to get into city limits for access to city schools. It is a future expansion area, is what Framework identifies this, and Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously recommend to approve. There were no issues from any departments or divisions other than just environmental services is not going to be serving that area, and they're aware of that. That's all I've got for y'all today.
And I have to ask the question I ask every time.
Yes, sir.
Do they understand when they annex into the city, they will not be leaving the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they signed
They
the
signed it.
paperwork? Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Zach,
Thank you, Zach.
I'd be interested to know just how many have annexed in the last year.
For city
For the city
schools.
schools.
Yeah, I can get that information
Okay.
for you.
I think it'd be interesting to know.
Mhm.
Thank you. Antonius.
Yes, sir.
There you are.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor. I only have one applicant today. It's going to be the Sanctuary on 25th, DBA The Sanctuary. They're going to be applying for a restaurant and retail liquor license. This is, again, located at 1710 25th Avenue. Hours of operation will be Sunday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to midnight. This is an area map of the location.
They were here last.
Yes, sir, doing admin.
One of the committee last week.
That's the zoning map and a land use map.
That's in your district, isn't it, Raven?
Again, this was passed by the council. I'm sorry, by the committee to recommend that we go through city council restaurant retail liquor license.
Okay. Got any questions? All right, I hope they really do well there. Okay, Mayor Maddox.
Yes, sir. I don't have anything for pre-council, but we are requesting executive session, and it'll likely take 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay, all righty. Any other department comments or announcements to make at this time? Okay, Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Holmes is on a very well-deserved vacation, so I'm taking up the slack for him today. On the agenda tonight, it's not exceptionally long, but I'll start on resolutions and ordinances not of a general nature permit operation on page 11, where you'll be authorizing execution of a permit with the State of Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services Business Enterprise Program for the blind vending services at City Hall. That was for projects last week. Page 12, you're authorizing the creation and implementation of school supplies for parking tickets program. That was heard at admin last week. Page 13, authorizing professional consultant and related services contract with TTL for the United States Army Corps of Engineers property not to exceed $14,000. That was also heard at projects last week. Page 14, authorizing a disbursement from District 1 improvement funds to Elizabeth Project Care for a literacy program. That was $500. That was heard at finance last week. Page 15, authorizing a disbursement from District 1 improvement funds to Concept 5 Program for Literacy Materials, total $500. That was likewise heard at Finance last week. Page 16, authorizing a minor public works contract with Mobile Communications of America, total $9,787.70.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bobbitt.
Yes, sir.
Did we hear those at finance, or were they pushed back to the OCA for the review that we've talked about implementing? Do you remember, Norman? Matthew?
Which number?
It's, I think it was, Matthew, it was your two, wasn't it?
Yeah.
sir.
And I'm fine with them being on the, but did we
These-
move them
these two-
through
these two were
finance?
approved
I
already.
remember them.
They were?
Mr. Wilson's
Okay.
were approved through finance.
Yes.
Ms. Howard's was the only one that was
That's
Okay.
tabled.
That's
All right, thank you.
Ravens was one for more.
That's correct.
information. That's right.
Go ahead.
Page 17, authorizing a minor public works contract with Miscellaneous Metals and Fabrication LLC for $19,470. That was heard at projects last week. Page 18, authorizing a minor public works contract with Edco LLC for $8,800. That was likewise heard at projects. Page 19, authorizing professional services contract with Navigation Electronics, Inc. for subscription and protection plan renewals for Trimble's GPS units, not to exceed $7,500. That was at projects. Page 20, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for jail services between the Pickens County Commission, the Sheriff of Pickens County, and the City of Tuscaloosa. That was on admin last week. Page 21, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, and services from Sunbelt Fire for a total of $55,185.85, and that comes to you from purchasing. On ordinances and resolutions of a general nature or permanent operation, page 23, 22 through 26, you'll be calling an ad valorem school tax election to be held in the City of Tuscaloosa on September 24th, 2024. On page 27 and 28, introducing zoning amendment 1527, rezoning 4.5 acres located at 1234 Inglewood Drive from R1 to BH. That was heard, that's from planning. On page 29 and 30, you'll be annexing, that was already heard, I'm sorry, by Mr. Pons already went through that. Page 31, you'll be amending section 19-176B3 of the Code of Tuscaloosa, utilization of sale hours. That was had at admin last week. Page 32, amending section 19-65 of the Code of Tuscaloosa for assignment pay for firefighters and police officers. That was heard at admin last week. Also, on page 33, you'll be reappointing Council President Tyner to the Tuscaloosa Sister Cities International Board of Directors.
Sure about that?
Page 34, be adopting amendment number 6 to the Elevate Tuscaloosa Fund Budget. That was on finance last week. And for adoption tonight, you'll be setting July 16th, 2024 as the date for a public hearing to consider zoning amendment number 1527. And as Mayor said, we are requesting one executive session today. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Bobbitt? Would you remind us the hearing on the hookah lounge is next week? Is that correct?
25th.
The
25th.
25th at 8:30 in the council
So
chambers?
that's not next week. Okay.
It's 2 weeks from
Two
today.
weeks
2
from
weeks from
today.
today.
I don't know why I was thinking this Thursday. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have projects 2:30, finance 3:15, public safety at 4, and then, of course, council meeting at 6. Tomorrow, Historic Preservation Commission will meet, and on Monday, Planning Commission in the council chambers. Any comments, other communications by anyone? Councilor Lanier, did you want to talk about what we discussed yesterday?
Yeah, I want to just bring before the council, the process we have to go through for a speed bump for concern, what we got. I think the policy was set in place about 5 years ago through the council before, and, I don't mind the process of going through the speed study and all that, but I think the final decision should be left up to the council, so if we could add that, I don't know, if we have to speak with OCA about how we can add that to the policy, because if they create the policy in 5 years, I think we got the power to add something to it, so they're doing something. So I want to see if we can add that to it, but we can still go through the same, because we shouldn't go through an act of Congress that has a speed bump. 4 or 5 years, we're trying to get a speed bump in certain locations. It's not going to tell that they got charges and challenges flying through these people's neighborhoods. So
I've
if
had
we got
people
the
that
power
have
to
the
do that,
speed
then I feel like we should have the last word. And we should defer it to the council to vote,
Well-
even after the speed study.
Mr. President, do we have that right now?
I don't think there's anything additional needed.
Yeah, well, what we did the last time changes, and I know Raven was, and I think Mr. Busby was here too. We reduced the number of cars that travel each day because it was unrealistic. There was no way that many cars were gonna go across certain roads in our certain neighborhoods ever. So we reduced it, and I agree with you, we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
Just one example, 31st Avenue East, and I've talked to engineers, Mike, about this, and I'm not gonna talk about my neighborhood, even though I almost got killed the other day, that's okay, y'all don't worry about me. But there was a car doing 100 miles an hour on 31st, and one doing 81, but the majority were not, but still you had several that were 80 and above on a, little street, so I would certainly look at ways that we can make it more easier to get them, because there's some neighborhoods like mine, the way it's set up now, we'd never get them, never. So could we bring that, Tom, would we bring that back to projects committee, start there?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Lanier would get Mr. Crowe to put it on the projects agenda, and then if whatever goes from there, we may look at adding some money to the mayor's budget, recommendations for that, if all goes through, So, good, okay, thank you.
But right now, we don't, Tom, do you know right now, do we have the right as a council to override that? Could we do that on a council meeting like tonight? I'm just saying, do we have the right in the way it was passed?
I'll have to look at it, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think we do.
Without, well, I'm saying without having,
Policy.
yeah, without having to pass any, without having to do anything.
Right.
We might be able to do it now. We need to know that first
I agree.
before we add to that.
And the other thing, Ms. Lanier, Councilor Lanier, there's still, years ago, there was a councilman in Mr. Fell's district that just put them everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that we started getting more complaints
Yeah, sure.
because it turns out he was the only one that wanted them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the majority of people did not want them on their
And I got
streets.
a neighborhood, but I have a particular neighborhood, everybody signs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a neighbor who begged for speed bumps and then begged to get it up. You know what I mean? So this is not going, just because we had a power to vote on it, don't mean I'm gonna say, hey, let's approve that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna look at it.
And you need to
Yeah, for sure.
have balance.
Yeah.
We all-
But I wanna have power, I don't wanna have to battle with this speed, study every time and get turned down. No, man, I need a speed bump, I need a freaking speed bump. You know what I mean? I can't keep telling them I can't handle a simple speed bump, right? So, yeah, I think we got the power to do that. If we vote the policy the first time, let's rewrite it.
We all feel you.
I think that's what we gotta do. Ask it to it, and then whatever we gotta do.
And on that tip, I have a petition that was submitted Monday for a speed bump, so I'm hoping, because they need it, and they need it on that street, they've been asking for a while. They went through all of the work,
Right.
so I'm hoping that, we can make that happen.
Has it been turned in?
It has, so I'll get that information.
And I likewise have the same issue, that people have submitted their paperwork and, been looking to hear from us. Just talked to them last week.
'Cause-
And it's within my district.
Currently, Mike, Mr. Gardner, it's 60%.
70% of the survey residents are supposed to support the speed table before it meets the criteria.
And then you got the issue I have, like with 31st, that one that was doing 100. That is a long 31st Avenue East goes on forever. So what percentage of a block, the block that's requesting, do you go by block of that 70%, or do you do the entirety?
One of the first things that we look at, the way our criteria is set up today, the speed tables are only allowed on streets that are classified as local streets.
Right.
If it has a higher classification, then the way our standards are set up today is we're not supposed to install speed tables. And then if it is a local street, I don't know that 31st is just right off the top of my head. That may be one.
Well, I would know that 25th, for example, the old Paper Mill Road, that would not be,
You're correct.
that you couldn't put, and I wouldn't want them there. But that's like 25th Avenue East, old Paper Mill Road.
Yeah.
Now, that wouldn't be eligible.
No.
But I found out that Arcadia Drive, the long Arcadia Drive, is not considered a local street. And I still don't understand how that happened. So, anyway, I just want y'all to know that the city, I want to applaud the city of Tuscaloosa for treating everybody the same, because I had my water turned off last week. And my rental house was cut off too, and Kimberly just shut me. Kimberly shut me down. I was brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden it stopped. It started dripping, so I just had to rinse with Listerine for my teeth brushing. But I had not. But I did not pay my bill. It was right it's been sitting there, and I said, I'll go by and pay it. And I didn't pay it, and I had no damn water. So they treated me just the same, and I appreciate that. So anybody gets upset, I can say, they cut mine off too. But you got it back on fast, and I paid it real quick. Thank you. Okay, all right. Is there a motion that we go into executive session?
Second?
Okay, Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes, sir. As your deputy city attorney and
Yes,
attorney
we
practice, licensed practice law in the state of Alabama, I certify that the matter to be discussed in executive session today regarding consideration of governmental bodies willing to offer or accept when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property is a valid exception of the Alabama Open Meetings Act.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to go into executive session. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? If you're not